Hey peeps, it's Julian here from Tutoring, and as always, it's such a pleasure to join you. Today we're going to work on a problem that's typically found in a math paper 2, which is graphs in a Cartesian plane. So as you can see in question number 3, we have a Cartesian plane with a few points on it such as B, C, and F, and some extra information which I'm sure we'll need to use in the questions to come. Starting off on 3.1.1, they're asking us to find the equation of AC in the form of y equals mx plus c. So to start off, we need to find out the values of the two missing variables, which is m and c. So m is the gradient of a graph, and to find this out, we'll need to solve for a gradient that lies on the line AC. And we can see that we have this point F and C, which lie on that line. So we can then find the gradient of FC, which is the change in y over the change in x, which we can write as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we assign that coordinate 1 can be for F and coordinate 2 can be for C. We can then do a simple substitution. So for y2, we can substitute the value of minus 4. And for y1, we can substitute the value of 3.5. And then same thing goes for x2, which we can substitute in 8. And for x1, we can substitute in 3. We can then put this thing in your calculator, or do the math in your head, which I know you all can do. And we get the answer of minus 3 over 2. And just as a sanity check, we know that we're expecting a gradient with a negative value, because this line here on the graph is slanted downwards, which indicates that it should be a negative gradient. So we can rewrite that equation now as y equals minus 3 over 2x plus c, because we have that m value. So now we have to solve for c, and we can then simply substitute any point that lies on AC. So we're a bit spoiled for choice here as we have f and c. So I think the easier choice would be to sub in this coordinate here, which is c. So for y, we know is minus 4, and we still keep that minus 3 over 2. And for x, we can sub in 8, and then we still need to plus the c. Now get all your like terms to one side, so we will keep the minus 4 here, bring the minus 2 over 3 times 8, but remember that becomes a positive because we moved it to the other side. And now we say that equals c. Again, you can just put this in your calculator and you should get the value of c equals 8. And as another sanity check, we can see that if we extrapolate this line up here and this y line, it should intercept y at about a positive number above 3.5, which is your y-intercept, and we know c is a y-intercept. So a value of 8 is probably correct. It's just a tip if you are wondering if your answer is correct. So we can just rewrite this nicely as y equals minus 3 over 2x plus 8. And cool, that's the answer for 3.1.1. Cool, so we'll continue to question 3.1.2, which is asking to calculate the coordinates of G. Now, as we can see on the graph, G is this point here that intersects this line BG and AC. They've given us that BG is 7x minus 10y equals 8. And we know And we know that AC from the previous question is y equals minus 3 over 2 plus x plus 8. And now we've got two equations, which means we can use simultaneous equations. So we'll say that this first one is equation number 1, and the second one is equation number 2. So to make things a bit easier, we'll start off by making BG in terms of y only. So what does this mean? We want to get y by itself, so we keep the minus 10y equals 8, and we move that 7x to the other side, and remember the negative, so it becomes 8 minus 7x. Divide both sides by negative 10, so we're left with just your y, and we're left with a negative 8 over 10 plus, because two negatives make a positive, 7x over 10. Cool, so now we have the equation in terms of y. So now we can substitute equation number 2 into equation number 1. What exactly does this mean? It means that we take here equation number 2, which is this part, and we know that that equals y, and we also know that y equals y, of course, so we can actually substitute it in there. So if we rewrite that, it's minus 3 over 2 x plus 8, and then still equals your negative 8 over 10 plus 7x over 10. And now we've got an equation just in terms of x. So if we get like just the x's to one side, so we can just solve for x, we have negative 3 over 2x, move that negative 7 over 10x, remember the negative, equals, so minus 8 over 10, and move that positive 8 to the other side, which becomes negative 8. So then if we just solve for those using like terms, and also you can use your calculator to help you here, I get that x equals 4. Cool, now we have one of the coordinates. So now that we have the x, we can simply now reuse 1 or 2, but because 2 is already in terms of y, we can rewrite, we know that y equals minus 2x plus 8, so we know that that equals, substituting in the x that we just solved for, we put that 4 in there, you can say plus 8, we get that y equals, put it in your calculator, but it's quite easy, 2. Cool. So we have y equals 2, we have x equals 4, and then just to write that nicely, we have the coordinate g equals 4 for your x and 2 for your y. And that's a wrap. So before I go, I'd just like to give a very special thank you to our epic sponsor for making this video possible. You can read all about them in the description below. Be sure to visit our website for more of these epic tutorial videos. If you can't find your answer to your question, please just send us your question and we will respond with a personalized video just for you. And until next time, stay epic.